Alright, what's going on? Back with another video. This time we're playing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, a definitive edition. This won't be the longest video, just addressing, a lot of the criticisms that this game has been getting. I think a lot of them are very valid, but I'll also be speaking of some positives as well. So right off the bat, I think something that's good about it is if you compare this game to a 20-year-old version of it, so it's not entirely 20 years old, 2004. This looks great. I hear that they're working on a multiplayer client for Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the Definitive Edition, and if we're playing with this quality, I will be more than happy with that. There was a trailer that people put out by a channel, I think the name was Arcadia, just as it's spelled, A-R-C-A-D-I-A. I think that was it. And they actually remade Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the map. Not the game, but the map, all of it, in Unreal Engine. And I watched that before the Definitive Edition, and I said, I understand what the engine's capable of. If the game were to look like that, it would make me almost never want to play GTA 5 again, because with a lot of people, this is their favorite game. It feels very expansive. It feels as though it feels a lot larger than it is. I don't know why that is exactly. But I told myself, definitely don't expect that, because there's no way you're going to get it. And sure enough, this is what we got instead. Now, the complaints that people have are not just, oh, it looks awful, or, it looks like it's still in the old renderware engine. It's not any of that. It's really legitimate stuff. A lot of it is, some of it's game breaking. Certain missions you try to drive somewhere and there are invisible barriers of geometry that you can't see. Characters won't get out of the car. An issue that I find is the population density is terrible. Now, if we could have high population density in Grand Theft Auto that came out in Xbox 360, we could certainly handle it for this re-release, because you always have to keep consoles in mind, or at least something that you could toggle. I think actually the original Grand Theft Auto San Andreas that came out for, I guess it was PlayStation, originally PlayStation 2, feels like it had more population density than this did to begin with. So it's just so weird, because there's a lot of stuff that you see that is kind of unexplainable, and the reason why it's unexplainable is because you would think, a normal person would think, I guess, surely this must have been play tested. If you played this game at all, you would have run by that, and you would have seen that glitch, and you would have fixed it. Or how did you not know that the character looked like that in the mission? Or didn't they care about the way these things looked? Like, there are problems that are literally inevitable to run into. And again, the more I compliment it, the more I sort of feel guilty. Like, I'm an enabler. I'm the person that is encouraging Rockstar or Grove Street Games to keep pumping out products like this, because they always say stupid people will buy them. And I think, God, maybe I'm one of those stupid people. I don't mean that literally, of course, but they're saying if you want the games to get better, stop buying them. I think a lot of people didn't buy this game, shall we say. They found other ways to attain it. So again, this looks pretty good. This looks pretty nice walking down here. If we were to be playing on an RP server, I would be ecstatic to be exploring this city with friends and other people. This is where the fog that I added in the mod I was speaking of, it's basically just drag and drop. It's not a weather cheat, it's an actual modification. This is where that comes into play, because the bridge and the distance looks much, much nicer. It actually has some type of depth to it. I do get fearful, though, whether or not Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be any good. Yeah, like with the atmosphere right over the bay, this looks really cool. The water, see, it's just sitting still. I don't know why they wouldn't have made that actually moving. Like, that to me is weird. Why you wouldn't have just put the tiny bit of extra effort into make the water just actually flowing. Why they wouldn't have done that? But a lot of people, I keep using that term, but myself, should I say, I'm nervous that GTA 6 is going to be horrible. Or at least for our expectations. The more you see these products put out, the more you get nervous. Like, alright, so are they definitely self-assured that whatever they release is going to be purchased? And obviously I hope that's not the case. Look at that. That is unbelievably eerie. Now, of course, there are good things about it. I like this. It's a lot of fun to drive around. It really is, to fly. We'll try to get to the airport. Can I have this car? Okay. Something that's a little annoying, that is because of the original game. I know they never would have... Well, it's not even a problem. It's just an opinion. Is the cars all kind of look nondescript. If you're a car person, which I think most people that play Grand Theft Auto are, you want to modify them. And you want cars that look different. You want sports cars, or Ferraris, or Lamborghinis, or cool sedans, or coupes, or something. And these are so dated that you can kind of get the idea of what they're meant to be. You kind of realize, oh, well, it's a sports sedan, or it's meant to kind of be a Dodge Viper or a Ferrari, but that's something that you just got to get over. See, over there, that should not be happening. That looks awful. And it ruins the immersion. I know it's not a virtual reality game, but when you look over here, okay, I can buy that. But then, looking back, it makes you wonder why you spend $60 on the game. My favorite part is definitely Las Venturas. Yeah, like, look how bad the airfield looks. That just shouldn't be happening. Maybe on a 20-year-old game. Maybe on a game that was actually from 2004. Who would care? But not on a game that came out this year in a modern engine. It just doesn't make any sense. See, the building won't load in over there. They all look blurry and messy and... See how long it's taking? There you go, finally. I don't understand. Console can run this, PC can run this. It should not be the fault of the game or some type of overload of geometry or that it's too much to process. See? I'll try to come in for landing. That looks good. Because it looks atmospheric. It looks as though there's a little life to it without the fog. Some of us were just dumbfounded. Like, no, it's not really meant to look like this, is it? You know, is there a point to doing this? No, I'm just gonna have to jump out anyway. The main strip here in Las Vegas actually looks pretty good. That doesn't look bad at all. I think this is probably my favorite spot because there's so much to see. It is like they couldn't afford to make it look boring or non-populated. You couldn't even if you wanted to because there's too much here that needed detail. I'll show you a big glitch I found. Maybe not a glitch because it's not. It's rather a very intentional flaw. They're unintentional. You'll see. There's foliage over here, bushes, shrubbery, and they all float. You can see, yeah, see the poppin'? Yeah, all these bushes over here, they're all floating. They don't actually touch. They don't actually touch the stone. You know how you couldn't have loaded into an area that you had to put enough effort into to be able to buy. Right there. And you can see all the people walking through them. You can see their feet on the other side. I don't know what they took us as. What type of fools to buy this. But if they patch it, that's great. I just wonder who's at fault, you know? If it's Grove Street Games or if it's Rockstar, did they push something on them? You do need to point the finger at somebody. I'm just not pointing it at anyone because I honestly don't know. Yeah, very nice here. Now that it's getting dark out with all the neon type of fluorescent lighting. The pirate ship looks awesome. And again, why there's no population density is beyond me. Everything looks so empty. At least make it so I could toggle it. You know, at least make it so I could change how much I see with the people. And there are plenty of pedestrians, but there are just no cars.
Learn to walk straight.
Sorry, buddy. I got bigger problems.
Have you tried the flavor of the month at Burger King?
Yeah, this looks awesome, man. The sky modernizes it a lot too, with the clouds. Maybe that's sort of a cheap trick that people use to be like, oh, well, at least the sky looks nice, so then everything will look good. But the lighting looks way better, undeniably better, than what it used to be. And see, with the fog added in, you can look that now there's a haziness. It's appropriate. It gives you... That's probably why the game actually felt so big, is it's two reasons. A, you weren't allowed to see a lot. Everything was obscured by the atmosphere. And B, the environments, the biomes were so different that it felt like you were traveling through more than what you actually were. In Grand Theft Auto 5, it's like you got 3 areas. You have, I don't know, maybe downtown, the beach, and the country, the desert. What is this guy doing? Yeah, I like this a lot. Again, the water all looks the same. I don't know why they couldn't have... Looks alright here. It's appropriate here, but why they couldn't have made the stream an actual stream, or the ocean a little more violent and ripping, but it isn't. Anyway, these are just my thoughts on the appearance of it. It's certainly not as bad as how people make it out to be. I don't think it's as bad at all. It's the optimization, it's the oversight, it's the functionality of it. It just makes you feel like they didn't care. Like they didn't have any interest in actually building a functional game. You know, even the burger shot, where the cheeseburger on top is meant to be spinning, that doesn't even spin. It's static. It doesn't turn around. And when you see really iconic buildings or structures be bastardized, you think, okay, yeah, they had no intention of making this good. Like that wasn't even in the cards. This was something that we're gonna do quickly and then we're gonna throw out. So these are my thoughts on it. Again, I'm very tired. I'm not gonna show you the whole game. You know what it looks like, but just thought it'd be interesting to commentate on you know, what I saw as I was running through.